Hey, good morning everybody. This is Mike Rose. Today I'm doing a little tutorial regarding the day 3 training that we have today. I figured we would give this a crack to see if this would help those understand this a little better. So first, we'll obviously start off with the System Internals Process Explorer and about the unit. Every Windows system host has process and memory for every running program. This unit will essentially touch on how the Windows operating system can monitor things, how it generates more logs, but specifically what you can use when it comes to the Process Explorer to determine whether or not a process that's running is legitimate or not. So in this unit, you'll utilize the Process Explorer to detect a keylogger that poses as a legitimate process, which will help you hopefully when you're out in the real world to potentially see a suspected keylogger in the future. We have two links right here for the technical background. One is processes and threads, and one is SysInternals. So we will go to the SysInternals first, which will be right here, and it essentially goes in the weeds about what Process Explorer can do. It can use CPU usage tracking for processes. It can be used to completely replace Task Manager, which is very useful. It's just a more in-depth Task Manager. It has a good tree view that shows hierarchical structure and relationship processes and displays it using colors so that you can understand it really quickly at a glance. Um, it can add multiple tray icons to monitor CPU, disk, GPU, network, and many other different things, as well as like which processes loaded certain DLL files. So if a certain process is loading DLLs it shouldn't be, you can see that. And of course, you're not always going to know, but it can kind of give you a hint as you gain more experience in the cyber realm. It can also kill an entire process tree, which includes any processes started by the one you choose to kill. It can suspend stuff. It can see which threads are in the process of actually maxing out the CPU, which is important sometimes for certain viruses. And it goes and it talks more about the tree view. It tells you how you understand colors. Green new objects, red deleted objects, own processes, services, all that stuff is right here. This is a great read. I know it's kind of boring for some, but it is necessary to understand how the Process Explorer works because it's a baked-in tool for every Windows device, and it can be very useful for those of you who do not have large funding. So, without further ado, we'll open up our station. Also, for those of you for process and threads, it's a very brief understanding of how a process is. It gives you the definition of a process and a thread and fiber. Okay, so we will go and hit next. We'll be dealing with the Windows Server 2019, and when it says quiz, that's the actual meat and potatoes of this module. It's not like it's kind of the step-by-step instructions. So it says run Process Explorer as administrator and search for the process named mcsvhost.exe and what is written in the company name field. So we will go do that. Right here is the Process Explorer. I'll run it as administrator. Agree. Alright, we have it pulled up, and I will try to expand this as much as I can. You guys can kind of see, it might be a little hard. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. That's okay. If you have trouble, you can always just ask me. I'll be in the room. But we're going to scroll down, and we are going to find mcsvhost.exe, and we are going to see under company name right here, it says it's a McAfee LLC. Right here. Have it highlighted. So under company name, it's McAfee LLC. That is what is under the company name field. Great. Is the process signed by the company that created it? Well, let's see. So here, whenever we can right click and we can hit properties, and then from there it'll bring up this window that will have all different types of information on it. We can look at performance graphs, disks and network usage, GPU usage, strings, threads, all that great stuff. So in terms of security, it shows you what type of privileges it was given, what type of SID is it running under, all of that great stuff. So it's asking us, is the process signed? So we will look and see. So parent, it's non-existent process. It started at this time. Image files here. So there are a lot of different things that we can do regarding MCVS host process, the properties that are within it. But to make this part simple, we'll go to options and we will hit verify image signatures. This will pop up the verified signature section here, which makes it a lot easier for you to just kind of scroll through. It'll say that it's verified for almost all of them, except for this MCVS host. If we look, no signature is present in the subject. This is very suspicious, and it's troubling because obviously with any official software, especially an antivirus, they will have a verified signature or a verified signer. So when we do that, we want to go back here and we want to hit no, the message says no signature is present in the subject. Great. Who is the parent of the process? So we can go back here, and if you did read up on the SysInternals Pro stuff to understand the tree view, understand how everything works, there are different trees here. If we look at we use winlogon.exe as an example. You see that there's like a minus sign next to it, and then it kind of is indented, and it has more processes under it. That kind of signifies that it is this is the parent, and these are the children within it. That being said, though, if we close that, we can see that mcvs host.exe is kind of all on its own. So there is no parent process that's currently running. What is the integrity level that mcvs host exe is running with? So system, medium, app container, or high. If we go back here, and you can look at the guide me's for all of these as well. So we can go to the select comments and check the integrity level. So select columns, and we can look at the integrity level, which is right here, and then hit OK, and it'll add another column. And it looks like mcvs host.exe is running at the system level. You can also see who's running it when you open up the MCSV host, and you look at the security. You can see which user's running it, and obviously it's running under system, which is troublesome and dangerous, especially if this is a malicious file. So we will go ahead and hit system right here. Great. What can you find in the strings tab of the tool? So within the strings tab of the tool, you might be able to select it, but I'll teach you guys. If you right click, hit properties, it'll bring this up, and then you can hit strings. Within the strings, you can find all different types of stuff. So you can find things like DLL files. We can look for that right now, and I can try to find you one. Let's see. There's all different types of things that you can find in here, and it can be incredibly useful to kind of tell you. So there's kernel32.dll, user32.dll, WTS API 32.dll, so definitely can find DLLs in here. Functions, there are definitely functions in here as well. if we look, there's a parallel query, there's invoke queries, debug modes, invoke methods. So file locations, there are definitely file locations like C program data right here. So all of the answers are correct. Which of the following strings can indicate key logging activity? We have low-level keyboard proc, which captures events from keyboard, invoke method to indirectly call a function, security SPP, task schedule service is disabled, event, get enumerator, returns an enumerator that iterates through a collection. So some of these could be obviously there's one answer, but all of these could technically be suspicious for different viruses, but here we're looking at key logging specifically, so low-level keyboard proc, capture events from keyboard is obviously going to be the one. We can look through the strings, and it can kind of tell you if, obviously, if the strings aren't encrypted, kind of what this file could be doing. So we can see some plain text here that is kind of interesting. They're super secret, which, just the text alone, we wouldn't really know what's going on. We see silent cleanup, which silent cleanup, that's for the disk, and if it is trying to clean, it's trying to do some obfuscation and to hide things. So if we keep scrolling down here, we see that it's editing some registry keys. It says UAC already disabled, so it's checking to potentially see if user authentication is disabled or not. It looks like there might be a UAC bypass application. It looks like it's trying to create a specific Windows directory. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. So they're modifying default domain policy. It's touching the system vault. So there's a lot of different stuff that you could look at. And the strings can have very useful information. It also has a bunch of plain text here regarding admin privileges and things like that. It has a shutdown force. It's to restart, force it, and time it so that the keylogger would be enabled potentially. So obviously it has keylogger started successfully on user. And if you wanted to try to figure out which one of these are on here, you could copy it, and you can try to find it on here. And there it is. So this string obviously shows that it's trying to capture any event from keyboard. So we're going to hit submit. And there you go. Then we're done with the quiz. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.